Let's see if we can't do something about my boredom.
Alright, sorry. Just letting y'all indulge in the overworld music ever so briefly. Alright, let's remember what the hell we're doing. This is a new recording session. Look at that inventory. What a mess. I have the crystal rod. We're going to the Mysidia Tower. Oh boy, we're going to meet Minwu and get the Ultima Scroll, and it's going to be the most powerful spell ever. Boys, we're all going to have a good time. I can't remember if I'm still leveling. Yeah, I'm trying to get a swap to level 4, I believe. Let's start off the new recording session by min-max grinding our spells. That's what the kids want to see. Oh, that's right, she's got Osmos and Berserk. We do want to get Osmos. The higher we get that, the better. The more MP we can suck out of the target. Plus, it's another way to raise party members' MP. Remember, we were using the sap spell earlier, but unfortunately, Furian's not the best sapper. That's why he never plays Spy. Which one of them is... I don't even remember which one we had Furian target. That's how badly we're doing right this second. Alright, yeah, that's right. Gus was being a man of the faith and raising the spirit. So, and he hopes if he ever makes it to that Wham concert that he can look George Michael in the eye and George Michael will look back and just nod. That's how you know he acknowledges how much faith you have, son. Only he knows that before this river, there comes an ocean. Before you throw his heart back on the floor, son. Maybe you'll reconsider your foolish notion. Even Layla can do good damage to Thunder weak enemies. I can't remember which one Gus punched. Gus punch! Okay, yeah, not that one. Attack. Does she have her bow in her hand right now? Oh, she does. Attack. Get Gus a couple of hand levels. A couple of handy hand levels, they even say. And finish this thing off. Even Layla can cut a sea snake to death when she wants to. She is a lass of the sea. Look, I knew Swap would level up someday. Selling my boat, not giving a shit. Okay, we can't quite sell inside that peninsula just yet. Because the moment we do, we're in a JRPG and we're sailing on a boat. What's the one thing that hasn't happened yet? We've technically fought pirates at sea. So, you know we're going to be attacked by a sea monster. Hold on, give me just a second. My dumbass forgot to drink one of these little energy shots before I started recording. So give me just a second, you crowd. Alright, I appreciate y'all bearing with me. You think as many times as I've done this recording myself play video game stuff, I would get better at it someday. Alright, for no particular reason, I need to strip Layla asshole naked. What is she holding that we want? How much inventory space do I have to even take items from her? I have one slot. I guess that's the downside to preemptively buying all those damn books. Fuck. Because she's not rejoining the party after this. I want the gold hairpin. Ah, damn it. Well, tell you what. Does anyone have an open slot at all? Inventory management really becomes a big fucking deal here at the end of Final Fantasy 2, they call it, I believe. Let's see. One thing we could do is unequip her ice bow. And that way, if we took Layla's Ori Halcom dagger. What's her name from Hyper Police? That's like her thing. She finds some kind of Ori Halcon thing. And it has a dagger made out of it. And she's able to stab people real good. But they're bad people, so they deserve to get stabbed. She also has like these little hamster things that like turn into like brass knuckle looking things that shoot lightning. Hyper Police is weird. Just read the manga. It has actual titties in it, so you know it's more mature. You're like, ah yes, finally. A mature graphic novel for the titty-loving connoisseur. Alright, I do want this unicorn horn. Damn, I really didn't. It's the one aspect of this whole thing I didn't plan out. Oh, Gus. Okay, Gus can hold the ice bow. This is a hell of a situation they put you through, Sakaguchi. I don't remember what Final Fantasy III NES's inventory system is like, but I believe I vaguely recall, I believe I made reference to it earlier, that a fat chocobo can be involved. The acid file is neat. We never really got to use it. It feels like such a waste not to take it off of her. Tell you what. We can rebuy these stupid fucking books easier than anything else. So let's just throw that away. That'll let us take the thief gloves off of her. I don't really care about the ruby. Or no, the acid file. Or the thief gloves are more valuable than the ruby curious. There we go, we did it. The boss fight of inventory management has been defeated. Let's save in slot 2 now. Good. Now let's just sail in here and nothing bad will happen. Oh no. A tsunami or tidal wave has hit us. And coincidentally we were swallowed by a giant sea monster. Oh no, I skipped the text box of Firion being like, where the hell are we? Did I see like a big mouth that we went inside of? Gus, do you know what the hell's going on? Alright, now here's the problem. Now we can't unequip this bow off of Gus's hand. It's ridiculous, is what it is. Oh Lord, and oh Jesus. Here, hold this crescent sword for a second, guys. That'll give you less of a magic penalty. And then we'll slap your ass in the back row and you can just be a holy man for a brief moment. And everybody else, Maria's got a knife and a shield. But if she just casts elemental spells, it won't really matter. Oh boy. Okay, these are the bolt fish I was thinking of earlier. So the other fish that we kept seeing while we were sailing around, I don't believe they absorbed thunder like the bolt fish do. I was having fish-based confusion. It happens to the best of us. In the meanwhile, we told ourselves we were going to stop spamming swap. So we will. Okay, he's just got a sword and a shield. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. Get you a little bit of Osmos. A little bit of Berserk. And then you can't cast Thunder on these guys because they absorb Thunder. So I guess we'll hit them with Blizzard? Question mark? Beg pardon? Oh yeah, we've got his Blink to level 7. Oh yeah, and you can't min-max Gus without a fourth party member. Dumb shit. Will you ever remember? Will Tenfey ever remember? Will Final Fantasy II ever be defeated? Stay tuned, true believers, for the next exciting adventure. Salacious deeds indeed. I wonder if fire hurts them less because they're a fish, although, you know, you cook fish. This is a true statement. Yeah, they don't give shit about fire. Who knew? They're casting Bolt on me. I guess they are Bolt Fish. Michael Bolt Fish. They're like, you can just go with Mike Bolt Fish. And the whole party, Maria, Gus, Firion look at each other and they're like, yes, Mike. Cut to them talking to Lundberg about what enemies are getting cut from Final Fantasy II. They're like, Mike Boltfish. Definitely gone. Oh, but I'm telling you, this Gordon, he's a team player. Lundberg's like, yeah, about that. Gordon's been having trouble getting his spear levels, so yeah. they're like, what about you, Mr. Lundberg? What stats would you say you've been min-maxing during Final Fantasy II? And Lundberg's like, yeah. And then cut to the damn it feels good to be a gangster montage. Boys, I never realized how well Office Space lines up with Final Fantasy II. I've done the worst job of properly targeting my characters in here. Like, I keep thinking they're going to be the one to one-shot them, so I want them all to have, like, their own fish to attack. Is there really anything wrong with that? When you break it down? See, there we go. Bolt fish fail. Holy bolt fish fail, Batman. Alright, Gus, if you've ever had an excuse to get like spirit and holy and all that fun shit, this would be the fight to do it. Should have just berserked Furion at the start of the fight. It's always the proper thing. If you can berserk a party member for any reasonable reason, you probably should. ABB, always be berserking. See, look at all them fun stat-ups we got. What a fun battle. You're like, yeah, that was real fun. A nice thing about her having Osmos is, if we want to use her to cure everybody up, she has a way to get that MP back. If there was a way to get an Osmos scroll at the beginning of the game, boys, you'd be spoiled. I guess that's why they hold on to that shit for so long. Oh yeah, acid in the floor. And by the floor, I mean the intestinal lining, or esophagus, or whatever the hell we're in. Oh, I want items. It's not fair. Who needs MP? Gus needs MP. You're like, did that motherfucker just use an either to get a twist headband? Hell yeah, I did. What a twist headband. The twist headband gives you strength and has decent evasion, so I'm going to put it on Furion's head. And his attack power shall increase, which means Gus can get the gold hairpin. His strength will go down a little bit, but it's got better evasion and shit, and it protects from lightning, I think, which is real good when you're a bunch of bolt fish are causing you worry and strife. Alright, Sea Dragon. You son of a bitch. I'm still can't stop swapping. Can't stop, won't stop swapping through the night. It's a white magic party. I learned Basuna just for tonight. Okay, figured y'all would appreciate a little Ninja Sex Party reference. And don't run away, although if we could run away, why wouldn't we? Osmos. Osmos. It really is tedious to min-max your spell skids. Now, the Sea Dragon, I'm fairly certain, doesn't absorb thunder. At least we're going to hope. What about old Holy Hands Gus? Help Furion kill that fish. It's good damage. I probably should have ought to had her berserk Furion, though, like I always say. Tsunami 8. Is that like the magnitude of seismic activity that caused the tsunami? Or is that Toonami at 8? Because I'd watch it. Although at 8 o'clock, when does Adult Swim start? Like 8 or 9? Somewhere in there. Alright, Furion's gonna kill that fish. You're gonna make Furion berserk. And you are gonna holy that Sea Dragon, boys. That's metal as shit. Man, Gus, I was expecting that to be a closer, clean sweeper even. Alright, I think you should attack that. You should thunder that. No, it's better to get rid of a target than to risk getting hit with multiple attacks. Although Maria's been going so late in the turn rotation here lately. I'm not going to go so far as to claim that she fucked up the rotation, but she threw a wrench in it. Do you crowd ever not go first in Tsunami 8? I'm just real curious. Thunder. Thunder and lightning, son. I could make another Ninja Sex Party reference, but I'll leave that one to your imaginations. Holy Boltfish. Boom. Alright, things are going swimmingly. Cue everybody groaning. See if you could suck some MP out of that motherfucker before Furion kills it. Nope. Okay, he didn't do quite as much damage as I thought. MP Absorb. Look at that shit, boys. And that costs us like 1 mana. It's ridiculous. I have a feeling Furion and Maria are going to get HP ups. Oh boy, maybe they can approach Gus, son. They can only see him from a distance. Alright, we got to make sure this thing dies before it kills us with another damn tsunami. Although I don't think a tsunami will do more than like 88 damage, so... Dead. Oh no, a Betray Fang. What a cool item that I'm always using. Hasn't Furion been carrying one around this whole time that I refuse to use? That's what we need to do. Start using up some of that garbage that I'm pretending is worth something. Look at all this fucking shit that I have to carry around. They had to have noticed it during development of the game. Did they just not care? Or did they intentionally do it to make the game, like the opening of the game, easier because you could like hoard a bunch of potions and antidotes and eye drops and shit. And then later in the game, they're like, now we shall punish the player. Now that the player has grown fat and succulent with his large inventory, we shall cut him down. I am Sakaguchi. And in this particular scenario, I speak like this. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. The good thing about acid water, or just acid, it's probably diluted a little bit, is you don't get in encounters while you're walking through it, although you do lose HP. Which is just an excuse for Gus to cure everybody. What a saint that boy is. Oh no, I want to open that box. Oh, but you know I don't have inventory space. I can use another either. Thank God. Okay. Keep leveling your swap. Even though I've told the kids multiple times that we're over that phase of our life. I want to berserk Furion, but he's probably going to go before her. And then it'll feel like such a waste. Tell you what, the two of you should be able to holy hell that sea dragon to death. It's the bigger threat now I'm thinking about it. It'll probably go before Gus and do a tsunami though. Oh no, it just slapped Furion. That's a good thing. Furion just got punched in the mouth by a sea monstrosity, and then in parentheses, and that's a good thing. Oh Lord, we need Gus to be just a mite bit holier. Would be enough to get him through these times. There's no reason to do it like that. You finish that thing off. Gus is probably not going to get a turn. God bless him. Literally. I'm pretty sure if God blesses you, your holy spell does more damage. God buffs, they call them. Wow. I guess you will get another turn. I did it intentionally. I'm always trying to make Gus feel more devout. What do you think actually happened? Once again, I'm doing such a bad job of lining my attacks. I'm kind of underestimating how much HP those things have by like 100 or 200. Damn. Oh Lord, now I don't know what to do. I've backed myself into a corner. We know 2 thunders will kill one of them things, so maybe we should just always have Maria doing 2 thunders. We'll call her 2 Thunders Maria, son. If you tell somebody who's never met her that's her nickname, they're just going to assume she has real thick thighs. And then when she shows up, they're like, why do you call her that again? I'm like, oh, well, because, you know, if there's one sea serpent, she'll cast thunder on it twice, kill it, the end. You're like, man, you need to have a misleading nickname. That's false advertising. Oh, I can't sleep in a cottage inside of this monster's guts for some reason. Probably because we can't get a permit for it. What I meant to do was shotgun one of these ethers. Shotgun ether. Damn, that's a good name for either a Wolves Can't Fly member or maybe one of their songs. That band's gonna be top tier shit in the future, boys. It's the one thing I'll regret not seeing. In the future. Alright, now we can open this box. Good for us. The power armor. I think it's called the power sash in the modern versions. Does anyone need to wear it right now? This in my current party. Well, remember, he gave up extra strength by wearing the gold hairpin, so theoretically we could put it on him and then put the black garb on a different character. But then again, maybe we'll meet a new friend soon who could use that. Who am I to say? Who am I to say who else has been swallowed by the beast? Okay, this time we're going to do this by the book, son. The chief himself will be watching it over and over in slow motion, trying to find one minuscule fuck up. But he'll be powerless to do it. Berserk Furion. And Blink Furion. Ah, I didn't expect that. A preemptive strike. Beautiful. Now on my next turn, I'm going to make this bulkfish disappear. I know why you do your little cancel select grind parties here in the daylight. Do you want to know how I got this MP restored? My father was a fiend, but he did have a good loot table with an Osmos stone on it. Holy 4. You can attack. You can just keep Osmosing, son. Osmos and Holy. It's a good combo. Lord, help me. That was such a professionally fought battle. Ah, good. The acid. Where we belong. Metal Gear acid? I don't know. It's one of my Family Guy tier quote-unquote references where I just say the name of something. No, not Family Guy. Big Bang Theory. We're inside Leviathan's stomach. How lovely. I like that you've got a little room and some books. I know what you're thinking. It's the same thing I'm thinking. This concept was reused for Tanzer in Saga Frontier. And as I've pointed out before, this is the prototype Saga game, so I'd like to think it was them looking back. Leviathan swallowed us all. Okay, there's some sort of stern man in armor standing in our way. Let's heal up in case he wants to tussle with us. We need to put your Asuna or your Cure a little bit higher, so it's less aggravating to click on. I believe I predicted this situation. Alright, fella. What's a fella got to do to get through one tall hallway? Yeah. And who are you guys? Well, that's awfully rude. Let's ask him about things. You know about Wild Rose? You know about the goddess spell? Do you know about wyverns? Wyverns? Why ask? Who are you? Awfully suspicious. Well, you know about dragoons. Yes, I'm a dragoon. Oh, my God. I thought they were all dead. He's like, what are you, fucking stupid? Okay, we need to ask him about the ultimatum. How do you know about that? This guy's real untrustworthy. Maybe because I have the crystal rod and can enter the tower, dumb shit. Where is my crystal rod? This is, imagine Furion saying all this angrily to this guy while rustling through a big fucking sack trying to find this one item, just holding up random things. He's like, take a look at this. And he's like, it's a nice helmet, but it didn't answer my question. I'm like, oh no, I'm sorry. Here you go, look at this. So you've come for Ultima 2. How do you pronounce the little book icon? Let me join you. There's a boat up ahead, but a monster is blocking the way. Boys, Ricard, the last Dragoon, which ironically, because this is the first appearance of Dragoons in Final Fantasy, makes him the first Dragoon, has joined our party. So that's cool. That means we get to fill in a section of our Final Fantasy Dragoon, I don't know how, scorecard. There we go. Okay, well, here's the thing with old Ricard. You're like, hell yeah, Dragoon. I know from watching Uncle Tenfey run his mouth constantly. The Dragoons are cool, armored, like knights in Final Fantasy games that attack with spears and by jumping in the air. And sometimes they're even cute rat ladies, if you're lucky. Well, unfortunately, they hadn't quite figured that out when they invented Ricard the Dragoon, because as you can see, he has no spear levels, and his sword level is 8. He's a sword and border son. He watched too much Joe Cat Monster Hunter videos, and now he can only use sword and shield. I would be tempted to grind him up with spears just to make him a proper Dragoon, but because he's the 4th party member, we can't cheese min-max him, so that's a shame. But you know what we can do? We can teach him Cure, and we could teach him Asuna, and we could teach him Life, and we could teach him Blizzard, and we could teach him Thunder, and we could teach him... There's no other spells? That is odd. I thought I bought another swap tome. Okay, we may have to visit the city later. Don't worry about that. We'll worry about getting out of this fucking thing first. Alright, we can actually do stuff with our inventory again. We don't have to have all these characters holding all these items. Oh, there's our swap scroll. I knew I'd bought one. What can she hold on to me? Here, hold this acid vial. It's real cool. Alright, Ricard the Dragoon. He's got some good shit on him to start with, but let's give him the power armor. Okay, I thought his attack went down for a second. Instead of the Giant's gloves, let's give him the Thief gloves so that he can be more agile right to start with at the very least. Golden Shield is good. Is the Ice Shield better? I think it is. Golden Shield protects from poison. Diamond Shield protects from thunder. I remembered. Remember. Alright, what can we put in this fella's offhand? Unicorn horns. Basuna scrolls. We'll give you a Basuna scroll just in case things get fucking tits up, as we'll call them. Let's see. Does he... He could benefit from the blood sword just like Furion. That's another thing about having 2 swordsmen now. It's real convenient. Wing Flame Ancient. Blood. What's the smell? The sweet blood of the blood sword. Alright, let's give you the... I'll give him the what, Ben? Are you going to finish your sentence? No, shut up, God. I know what I'm doing. Unicorn horn is good, but I'd rather have that on... Honestly, it'd probably be better to put that on Furion. I feel like he has the highest status ailment resistant these days. So we can give Ricard the Betrayal Fang. That'll foreshadow how Dragoons in certain Final Fantasy games, cough for cough, are huge shithills that betray you. Because they're mad that they have no GF and that you have a cool GF. That's the plot of, part of the plot of Final Fantasy 4. We do want to teach Ricard to swap. Swap cats. Alright, let's give Gus the Giant's gloves that we took off of Ricard now that he's wearing the gold hairpin. That somehow works, right? Because the black garb is supposed to give him agility. I'm trying to understand Final Fantasy 2, and I've realized immediately my mistake. I realized quickly when I knew I should. Someone's got to wear this gold hairpin on their head. Who don't have that? You've got the twist headband. You've got a gold pen. You've got a gold pen. Well, shit, we might as well give one to you too. Because I don't know if the armor and the helmets power-up stack. I'm just saying. So better safe than sorry. There, we finally set that boy up. He joined our party and we immediately started fucking with his gear and handing him books and be like, here, learn this spell, learn this spell, learn this spell. And he's like, what the fuck? I'm a Dragoon. I hit things with a sword and shield, and Furion like just closes his eyes and looks away from him and hold his hands up, and he's like, we're just gonna move past that one. We're not gonna address. Yes, Dragoons use sword and shields, buddy. Don't worry, as soon as we hit Final Fantasy 3, they course correct Dragoons into being the cool guys they always were. A bunch of cool guys and gals. Will we be stuck here forever? You might. I'm like the main character, so I gotta get the hell out of here. The beast that protects the tower. Anyone with a crystal rod. I brought one too. How the hell did you get a crystal rod? I had to go through some shit. He must have just found one. You've been living inside this monster for 10 years? What do they eat? I'm like a YouTube game analysis channel. All you have to do is ask what the people in the game eat, and you're already real deep and insightful. You just dash about all quickly. Leviathan's Mouth. Oh, do you run an inn in here? You look like you should run an inn, and you have a bunch of beds. But I can't give you money to go to sleep. Alright, what item did I miss? The Power Gauntlet. Now I want to equip that on somebody. Furion needs all the agility he can get. You've got the Power Sash. Okay, these are better. I'm going to just go ahead and assume. Yeah, so there you go. Crisis averted. Alright, we've done a lot of running our mouths. But let's continue on the dungeon. There's only one floor left, so we'll get the hell out of here pretty quick. Alright, there's 2 items we want on this floor before we go tussle with the boss. Oh shit, we needed to move Gus back in the front row. Alright, that's fine. We can do a non-front row fight with him. Alright, what's the best way to handle this fight? You attack. It just feels like such a waste to not get at least like 1 spell level on him. You attack that. You do your magic grind rotation. You accidentally scroll down the items. Alright, you thunder that top one. We can finally get back to min-maxing Gus like he always meant to be. I'm going to get him 3 hand uses and 3 holy uses. I don't think he and Maria can holy the same one down, unfortunately. Okay, we need to start leveling your magic, buddy. So just start casting swap. There's a reason we want him to be able to cast swap. We're never going to get his swap magic level 2, Ben. What are you doing? Also, he's getting the shit knocked out of him. Y'all to gain some damn HP. This fight, Lord help me. For some reason, in the future versions of this game, they changed his name from Ricard to, I think, Gareth. I'm not sure why. I've always assumed that the guy in Elite Knight's armor that you can fight in Sin's Fortress in Dark Souls 1 that drops the Ricard rapier is based on this guy. I mean, it makes sense. On some level, you're like, does it? Does it necessarily make sense? On some level. Are you sure about that, Uncle Tenfey? Have you crunched them numbers, Uncle Tenfey? I'm just trying to use up his MP so he'll get an MP up. Because you're wondering how I am having him cast shitty low-level magic. Thank God he didn't get killed. Oh God, a tsunami's coming. Will it do more than 86 damage to Ricard? That's what everyone's hoping. Yep, first battle in our party and he got killed. What an annoying fucking fight. And to Maria, 2 thunders. Oh, she didn't hit the same one twice with thunder, did she? I'm doing my usual shit where I like target the enemies in an ass-backwards way. And it causes nothing but problems. It's just the way you play Final Fantasy 2 when you're playing it for YouTube. I'm so confident that he's going to wake up that I'm going to be ready to cure him. Alright, at least you can do that shit before I cast life. Pain in the ass, fucking AoE ass enemies. Not that I'm bitter. 1169's Gus, Jesus. And look at that, it played out just like we wanted. All according to Kai Keke. I do like that Ricard uses the Gus color palette, we'll call it. The Gus Leon color palette. You're like, who? I'm like, you know, Leon, our favorite character. He was in our party at the beginning of the game. We named him. You're like, oh yeah, that guy. I assumed he was just there as a joke. Okay, good. Ricard's up to 10 MP. You love to see it. You're like, do you? Why? It's like the follow-up to Yukino Joe's "We Gotta Get SpongeBob Back" fan animation. In the second one, Squidward's like, "We gotta get SpongeBob back," and Larry the Lobster just goes, "Why?" And then cut to Squidward, and he can't quite think of a reason, and then it ends. I've ruined it for you, but would you have ever watched it if I hadn't properly described it to you? It was a catch-22. Alright, everyone's real healthy now. I don't think Gus has that ridiculous... Oh yeah, he has the crescent sword equipped. Trying to remember who's holding what. Oh yeah, you've got an Ori Halcom and an ice shield. Should we just slap you in the front row for fun? Why not? Front row party! I took one step? I didn't know the encounter table could be so cruel. Okay, we're not fucking around this battle. I want this crowd done. So you attack that, Maria. Get your Osmos charge. And then you berserk the party. Gus. Remember, you don't have the min-max blink as much anymore. We do want to get some holy castings. And then we're going to punch, punch, punch. I don't think Ricard could get a max MP. If he lost both of those MP he's carrying, I mean, there's a chance, but it's probably not very high. So I'm not going to bother. Yeah, everyone's berserk. I'm not going to bother trying to raise his MP anymore till we get out of here and can sleep at an inn. I've got a plan for Ricard, don't worry. You've probably already figured it out if you've seen the way I've equipped him and the spells I've taught him. You're like, oh, Uncle Tenfey, you're crafty. Like a big box of craft dinner. That's how I describe old Uncle Tenfey. Old Uncle Tenfey's like a bag of properly dressed potato chips. I believe it involves malt vinegar, which sounds really good on potato chips when you think about it. Unfortunately, here we sacrifice, instead of speccing into malt vinegar potato chips, we specced into having multiple varieties of Captain Crunch. Only Squirrely Dan noticed. Only he had the bravery to point it out. Dead. Betray a Fang. We need to start using them things. We've got like 100 of them apparently. Ricard's holding one, right? Yeah. Furion was holding one before I decided the unicorn horn was more useful. Which it is, but I don't think anything in here puts temporary status effects on you. Gaia Sword. Gaia, the spirit of the sword, can no longer stand the terrible min-maxing plaguing this playthrough. It is an earth elemental sword. It's like the ice brand or the fire brand. It's like the earth brand. Well, look at you fucking things. Ain't you pleasant? I believe we did. We fought some of these in that cave. But I believe they're also... Weren't they a boss in Castle Kashan when we went to get the Egil's torch for the Sunfire? Do you remember any of this? Are you just staring at me blankly as I say all these proper nouns like I'm reading the Silmarillion? I forgot Maria is in the front row with a dagger, which she's not used to attacking with. So just for fun, since it's real quick to do with melee weapons, let's get her a few cheeky dagger levels. Dagger fall. Also, these guys can't really be killed with magic, although we could suck magic out of them with osmos. Has this ever happened to you? And cut to a black mage in his kitchen, and he's trying to put saran wrap on a bowl, and he can't get the saran wrap to stick to the edge. And in a fit of rage, he tries to cast fucking flare and just annihilate the whole kitchen, but then he's out of MP. So then he just shrugs and looks at the camera and like shakes his head and is like, there's gotta be a better way. Introducing Osmos. From the makers of Rasp. It's a little Final Fantasy VI joke for y'all. Absorbed. 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 Absorb. I like the little bow 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 noise it makes when you absorb things. It's real satisfying. Oh no, not Thunder 8. Thunder, 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 Thunder 8. You crowd love to cast that shit, don't you? I got to accelerate. Yeah, I got to accelerate every one of y'all's fucking turns. Okay. Now we're good. Now we're sweet. Oh, we're all burned up this time. Dead. Dead. Oh yeah, I forgot you're not really qualified in that dagger yet, are you? That's fine. Remember, don't let Fury and Sword skill atrophy either. Once you start cancel select min-maxing in a battle, boys, you're not going to want to stop. Oh boy, we got all kinds of good levels up. Alright, that diamond shield protects from bolt. There are things in here that use bolt. So we're going to put that on you. She's wearing an ice shield. I believe Furion's wearing a flame shield. Well, la-di-da, Gus ain't got no shield. So what can you do? Have him just fight, I guess. Look at this pack of fucks. Okay. I'm going to use the Betray thing. I am going to get a cheeky swaps level first, though. Betrayal. Running riot. Light Warrior team has the flag. Gussamanjaro. Just keep punching. Just keep slicing. Everyone's berserk, yeah. He's confused, not effective, and he's confused. Although remember, they've already like entered their commands for the turn, so they'll still attack us this turn. But that means we don't have to prioritize them as targets because they're confused. Too bad we already had Gus come swinging at that one. But them's the breaks, as they say. Alright, you should be able to attack that. You should be able to thunder that. You should be able to attack that. And you should be able to attack that. There we go. Damn. Oh good, the mana ray helped. He's like, I got you, buddy. I imagine that's how he talks. Well, look at him. His like whole face is a shit-eating grin. There's punches coming out of that boy. Tropical punches. That's technically a Final Fantasy XI joke, if you can believe it. Alright, I believe this will work. It didn't. Don't tell Leon. The Manta Ray helped again. He's our secret best party member, and now we have to murder him. You hate to see it happen, but sometimes you gotta do it. I'll give you all a moment to grieve for him as I continue to cancel select Maria's dagger skill. I gotta say, the Betray Fang was genuinely useful. Imagine that, when you use the items instead of hoarding them, like a dragon, they're useful. That would be me if I was like a consultant for hoarding dragons. Another Halcom knife. No dagger users, or proper dagger users. She's at 43 at level 1. God bless her. Alright, let's get HP. That sounds like a real good thing to have in a dungeon like this. Alright, I think we're finally ready to kill the boss. Oh, I thought you could just walk through the middle. Oh well, we'll probably get in at least one more fight. Look at him guarding that. You know what this feels like? Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Like walking up to this worm enemy. It really is. It's uncanny. He's guarding a little boat icon. It's adorable. Fighting a boat fish. Fighting a boat fish. Fighting a boat fish. Better berserk. Doesn't matter. I don't think they can finish off. Well, if all three of them piled on the same boatfish, they could probably kill it. And honestly, that was probably the play. But since I cast Berserk, I feel like diversifying my targets. You want to be in a target-rich environment. That's what Soldier 76 would say if he was like a financial advisor. Reaper would just tell you to buy Bitcoin. No, Reap Coin, his own unique digital currency. Alright, we're gonna have to tussle with this motherfucker. Let's just put Maria in the back row for her own safety. Okay, let's see. How are we going to handle this fucking thing? Probably just go in there and kick the dog shit out of it. It's a real good fucking plan. And we've got all the materials we need for that. All we got to do is apply the final touches. Not a roundworm. Ugh. That sounds awful. Thought y'all might enjoy just a straightforward battle for once. I assume the sound of my voice has woken you up from the temporary coma you went into. You're like Jason Statham in Crank, but in this one, if he's not constantly listening to a Tenfey video, he dies. You're like, finally, a Jason Statham video, a movie I can relate to. Alright, I guess we should just get the hell out of here then. Fuck everybody else. We're the heroes. Now, I guess this is our original boat, aka Layla's boat. Oh, by the way, I didn't even mention that Layla's just fucking missing. What a shame. I'm so worried about her. Question mark? You're like, don't say question mark out loud when you're feigning sympathy. Alright, we're going to try a cheeky little trick this fight. And it's, well, actually, no. Let's get back on the land before we try any cheeky little tricks. I'm thinking about. Yeah, she's going to obliterate them. Fun times. Alright. Rest up at town. And then boogie on down. He's like, I thought I told you nobody cool is here anymore. I'm like, yeah, you proved that with your own existence. And he's so fucking hurt. We said that to him. Okay, what do we not need out of this shit anymore? We don't need this wing sword. We don't need another Ori Halcom dagger because, I mean, nobody's really using daggers when you think about it. Knight's armor, Giant's helmet, Giant's helmet. Golden shield, technically still useful. Technically blocks poison. Let's see, what's everyone got equipment in their hands? You've got thief gloves on. You've got thief gloves on. You've got power gauntlets on, and you've got thief gloves on. So do I want to keep one pair of each in my inventory just in case? If I'm like, man, this guy character doesn't have enough agility. It's tough decisions like this you gotta make in Final Fantasy II. We don't need to haul as many ethers around now that Maria has Osmos. So they're mainly there to give, you know, Gus and Furion. Although Furion can land a damn swap spell, he can get his enemy back too, so. I'm just trying to decide what I'm going to haul up into this place. Because the next dungeon is a long one. And it can be brutal. Should we just keep our consumables up here? Since, if you haven't noticed by this point, the way this game does, like, item acquisition when we just pick them up out of boxes is it adds the item here and then everything is shifted to the right. So it can be a bit confusing when you break it down like that. Yeah, I think that's better in the long run. And then we can just keep extra equipment down here. I feel like it'll somehow be less confusing in the long run. Maybe. I do want to keep the ice bow for when we need Maria to... Because she's not going to run out of MP anytime soon. So, it is what it is. There ain't no need to over-fret and over-worry about it. Was there any spell we wanted to teach Ricard that we threw the tome away for? That's a thing. Cure life as soon. Oh yeah, fire. I mean... It's not really necessary, and I acknowledge that. I'm going to go ahead and buy another elixir and another ether. If swap wasn't 8,000 gil a tome, I'd have bought some just to use as items in battle. God, imagine using the Osmos scroll as an item in battle, son. I'd faint. I would become Henry. Ender of Worlds. Inventory item usage Fredder of Worlds. There we go. That's a respectable selection of magic. You're like a Dragoon? No, and I have to comment on Maria having 69 MP. It's a good thing. I usually think of Dragoons as more having like curative magical abilities. And I base that solely on the fact that in Final Fantasy IX, Freya gets an ability called Reese's Wind, which I believe is actually named after the dragon. Remember in Final Fantasy Tactics? Remember in Realms Must Die? We helped a guy named Beowulf rescue his dragon waifu, who was actually a lady turned into a dragon. And anyway, the ability casts Regan on your whole party. So that's like white magic. And in Final Fantasy Tactics, Dragoons get a reaction ability called like Dragon Soul, which when they get hit, they have a chance to cast re-raise on themselves. So there you go. I've convinced you that Dragoons can learn magic now. Speaking of magic Dragoons, we've got some shit to do. All right, here is how this is going to work. You're like, oh god, whenever Tenfey starts one of his leveling schemes. Firion, my boy, my dog, my ace in the hole. Just put 2 shields on him for now. Although, I always forget that when you have 2 shields, you still punch. Oh, he can just punch himself if he needs to. That's the Final Fantasy II difference. Alright, you're fine. Is she going to be casting something that needs to land? Osmos would be useful if we just wanted to raise that. So let's put your... Of course, this would be a good chance to get her dagger and shield skill up if we wanted to. For fun. Her shield skill should be pretty good, because remember when we made her a mace user for that brief moment, she was using a shield. Yeah, she's got up to fucking 5. Well, I'll be damned. Now, Ricard is going to be trying to land a spell this entire time, so we need him to have the least spell penalty possible, which means we need to strip him ass-all naked. Look, whenever I get a new Dragoon in my party, it's a rule that they have to strip asshole naked. Unless they're wearing, you know, leggings. I mean, I'll let you leave those on. As a courtesy. Oh my god, what a mess this fucking channel is. Alright, let's get in a fight with some low-level enemies. Here's how my scheme works. We're going to cast Swap on the entire enemy party and just hope it lands on one of them. Maria's going to get an Osmos and a Berserk charge, even if these are low-level enemies. I'm still not going to waste that. And then she'll just attack. She can't hit them from the back. Same thing with Gus. He's just going melee. And then Ricard is also going to attempt to swap all the enemies. Let's see if any land. Firion has a much higher chance of landing since his swap is level 4. Yeah, there you go. Which I'd hope he doesn't fucking die now. Not effective. Not effective. Yeah, you got to get kind of lucky to have Ricard land one of these, especially multi-targeting. It'll all pay off, don't worry. Okay, that was good. Now, I would love to get Firion's HP up a little bit, but the problem is he would cure himself real big with a Cure 4, which means he might not get an HP up. What a waste. You could try to... No, he can't. He can't cast any magic. I forgot. He has 0 MP now. That's... God, it's going to cost a fortune. Well, it's a good thing we've got shitloads of money, because I was going to say, that is one of the downsides of this leveling scheme. It's kind of like... Remember at the beginning of the game when we were using Minwu's Sap ability to do kind of like this? So, just think of it on those terms. You're like, oh, I just think of it as cheating, which is what it is. Hey, no editorials. Alright, he'll get 10 chances to hit at least one of them with a swap spell. Huh. I guess his shield skill's real good. He can punch real good with a shield. This is easier to do in future versions, because like I said, in the future versions, if your character's holding 2 shields, he doesn't do any damage. He just kind of holds the shield up. I don't know if they couldn't figure out a way to program that or what, but in this one, you come out swinging. Alright, then you target Gus. A target Gus environment this time. Hell yeah, finally. Sorry about being dead silent. My upstairs neighbor is like running something in their bathroom, and so there's water going through. Okay, finally stopped. They sat up there all day with like a glass to the floor listening to my room, and when they hear me start recording, they're like, oh boy, and they run in there and start flushing the toilet like they're revving a fucking motorcycle. Okay, we can just end the fight now that Ricard landed one of those, because he's going to be guaranteed HP and MP up now. So let's just obliterate the enemies. After Furion punches one with a shield, of course. Froze. God, even at this point, her split damage Blizzard 5 does so little damage. Look, then again, at the beginning of the game, it was doing like 4. Magic power up, stamina up, MP up, HP up. Magic power up, stamina up, MP up, HP up. So I really only recommend using this with... Well, that's not true. This is the best point in the game. You could technically do this with Layla or even Hell Minwu if you want to walk all the way out there and try to get... I think Minwu has the swap spell, doesn't he? Honestly, don't know. Now, let's get... I want to see how expensive the end bill is before we restore our HP. I'm real curious. Let's walk into town and find out. $535? Excuse me 1 second, lady. Just hide around the corner here. She's like, is that magic I hear casting? That better not be cure magic. That's like bringing your own food into a restaurant. We walk into the inn, and the innkeeper is the bartender from the Mos Eisley Cantina. And he's like, we don't serve their kind here. And I'm like, what? He's like, those kind, white mages. Alright, let's see what our potential end bill is now. Hell yeah! Talk about savings. And we get to level up our cure magic. It's a win-win. Ricard's like, couldn't we all use one of the 4 beds? And Furion's like, you got a lot to learn about being a Final Fantasy II Warriors of Light, buddy. Okay, good. Now, we do want Ricard to be a little bit hardier before we take him. The next dungeon is serious fucking business. Or at least it was when I used to play this in Final Fantasy Origins. So I'm going to assume the Famicom version is even harder. So back to business. Swap them boys. If we really wanted to, you're like, oh god. If Tenfey says if we really wanted to in the middle of one of his leveling schemes, you know it's going to get even worse. We could have Maria here osmosing Gus to get him some MP. Why shouldn't Gus? He's already up to 143, Jesus. He's taking his monk white mage class very seriously. I appreciate it. I appreciate that level of commitment. Maybe Ricard will land a swap real easy this time. We might get his swap to level 2, now that I'm thinking about it. If we do this enough times, you're like, oh dear Jesus. Don't let Tenfey sit here and do this over and over. Alright, Furion landed one real quick. Hopefully he doesn't get killed. MP absorbed. That would probably be enough to get Gus an MP up. We could also just have him cast magic himself for fun. Look at that, he landed that on the shield on the first hit. You love to see it. I noticed Furion doesn't enter like critical crouching status. Neither has Ricard until he was targeted in some way. Like when Gus's blink spell targeted him, that's when he crouched down. I just find that interesting. Oh, I thought he still had the blood sword. I probably could explain the blood sword to you, but I thought it was more fun to just use it during a boss fight. You'll learn about it someday. You're like, no, I've already read the wiki, Uncle Tenfey. I already know that you're cheating. I'm like, why do you always have to call it that, man? It ain't cheating, man. It's strategy. It's like camping in first-person shooters.